Let's go. Right where we belong.
Sunday Night Football. That's what stars are for. The whole world watching. Let's go.
Waiting all day for Sunday night. Let's get it.
For the end zone.
Nice.
Chase has it.
Going to win.
Dives into the end zone. He is in.
Caught for the touchdown. Wow.
I will not lose. This is my moment. You will not forget.
Kellen Winslow.
This is for history.
Are you kidding me?
I am the future.
Unbelievable.
The top is my target.
You can't stop this passing game.
Oh, baby, how's that for a bolt to lightning?
Do it again.
Play it driving, pushing, touchdown!
The games begin. It's showtime. Prime time. Let the games begin.
Let's go.
What a throw by Tua Tagovailoa.
Born to win. Yeah. It's showtime. Like prime time.
I want to throw like Tua.
It's showtime.
And I still can't throw like Tua, but Tua Tagovailoa getting us ready for showtime and leading one of the NFL's best offenses with hopes of bringing the Dolphins back to the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. Meanwhile, fellow third-year quarterback Justin Herbert and the Chargers have been up and they've been down all season, but are still right in the thick of the AFC playoff picture. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Football Night in America. I'm Maria Taylor alongside Tony Dungy and Jason Garrett. And you heard it, the class of 2020, the 5th overall pick was Tua Tagovailoa, and the 6th was Justin Herbert. And, Coach, you said that really a lot of pressure will be on that Rookie of the Year from 2020, Justin Herbert, in this game.
Yeah, well, Tua and his Miami offense, they were out of sync last week, but they're explosive. They're going to put up a lot of points. Chargers have defenders hurt. I think Justin Herbert's going to have to be Superman tonight for the Chargers to win.
Coach, I couldn't agree with you more. I don't think there's a player in the NFL who has more pressure on him to be spectacular every week in order for his team to win than Justin Herbert. They don't play great defense. They don't run it very well. They don't protect very well. His receivers have been in and out of the line.
Wow.
Okay, sheesh.
It's true. and so if he plays great, they have an opportunity. It's going to be a big challenge for them tonight.
Well, already, guys, week 14, we've seen some unbelievable plays. We've seen some crazy things. We've also seen some good teams struggle, including the Cowboys and the Titans. But, Jason, that just makes us remember and be thankful for the team that is showing up and showing out every single week, and that's the Eagles.
Yeah, week after week, it's been this team. A couple of the better teams were a little sleepy today. The Eagles were not. They went up the turnpike, went into MetLife Stadium, and took it to the Giants from the get-go. They threw it. They ran it. Hurts was outstanding. They ran for 250 yards. The defense was stout, and everybody's smiling in Philly.
And what about my hometown Lions? Winners of 5 of the last 6. They are playing great offense. Jameson Williams, a new weapon. Can they make the playoffs? I don't know. Steve Kornacki will let us know later on, but they are hot and fired up.
Yeah, that's right. Kornacki is here. We're going to talk about the playoff chances for the Lions. But first, let's send it over to Chris Sims, who has some of our offensive standouts.
Oh, well, we got some good offensive standouts today. And first off, we're going to go to Nashville, Tennessee. The Jaguars pulling off the unlikely upset against the Tennessee Titans. And you know why? Because Trevor Lawrence was phenomenal for the second time in 3 weeks, throwing dimes all over the field. His right arm, bye-bye Nashville, bye-bye Tennessee's on the way out the door there. But he played great. Then, run game in Baltimore. That's right. When you're on to your third-string quarterback, there's no Lamar Jackson. Run game delivered today. J.K. Dobbins is back. Not totally healthy, but looked good. Gus Edwards looked good. Ground and pound for Greg Roman and company. Way to go. All right, guys, here we go. You know what time? It's showtime at the Forum with Magic Johnson. Oh, wait. That's Patrick Mahomes. Are you kidding me with this right there? A no-look, underhand. I don't know what kind of throw that is. Fast break in basketball. He is the magic man. Unbelievable. Maria, back over to you.
The only one that has more magic than Patrick Mahomes has to be Steve Kornacki. It's the most wonderful time of the year, breaking down playoff chances as we get to the postseason. Good evening, Steve.
Hey, Maria, how you doing? Well, yeah, and that loss today, the Jets in Buffalo falling short really clarified the stakes for tonight's game here on Sunday Night Football. For the Dolphins, they remain solid for a wild card bid in the AFC at least. But remember, if the Dolphins can win tonight, they'll remain a game behind the Bills. And next Saturday, where are the Dolphins going? They're going into Orchard Park with a big opportunity. But that Jets loss looms even larger for the LA Chargers. You see them right now at 29% to make the playoffs. They could jump up in a big way if they could get the win tonight. They could jump all the way to a 50% shot of making the playoffs. Why? Let's take a look at the AFC standings right now. You see the Jets with that loss clinging to that number 7 spot. If the Chargers get the win, they go to 7-6. They'd have have the tiebreaker over the Jets. With a win tonight, the Chargers would be in the 7th and final AFC playoff spot, at least for the moment. Remember, the Pats get the Cardinals tomorrow, and if the Pats win that game, the Pats would then take the number 7 spot.
All right, thanks, Steve. A lot is on the line tonight out in L.A., which is exactly where we head. Rodney Harrison and Jack Collinsworth enjoying that Southern California sun.
Maria, it is good to have the khakis back. How about the khakis back there in the studio? This is your old stomping grounds, man.
That's right. I played 9 years here.
They've been showing you all kinds of love as well. Buffalo, they're holding down that top seed in the AFC admirably. And you think about next week, next Saturday night, Miami, if they win today, they could have a big matchup coming up, Buffalo and Miami. That Buffalo defense, they were hunting today.
Well, they're going to have to deal with that Buffalo defense. And I thought defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier called an aggressive game, blitzing those linebackers and knocking Mike White out twice. I thought they did an excellent job. And these guys didn't pout because of Von Miller injury and anything like that. Greg Rousseau, 2 sacks. A.J. Epinesa, Ed Oliver is all over the place. This Buffalo team has struggled, but this defense is still really good.
Hey, in the AFC at this point, you got 5 teams who are right in the thick of it for that very top seed. They keep on winning as well for the Chargers. It is a crucial night. You can hear it, a crucial night for their playoff hopes against one of the best in the AFC. So the construction of Miami's pass rush began when they drafted Christian Wilkins in the first round of 2019. Then last year added another top 20 pick with Jalen Phillips. Then this year traded for Bradley Chubb and paid him. That pass rush, it has been the top priority, and it's working for the Miami Dolphins.
We always talk about offense, but we never talk about the defense. And the defense has a lot of good players, and Christian Wilkins, he's their best defensive player. And he's an absolute beast in the interior of that defense. He can beat you with speed and quickness, making negative plays, but he can also beat you with power and just brute strength. And if you try to block him one-on-one, that's going to be very difficult to do. But the thing that really separates him is his passion for the game, how hard he plays. This guy is 6'4", 315 pounds, and he's making plays 30 yards down the field. This is the type of guy you need if you want to change the culture of your locker room. I love me some Christian Wilkins.
How about Jalen Phillips as well? Wilkins, you pair him with Phillips, this tall, lean guy, only year 2 already leads this defense in pressures. And you look at this game, it's Miami's strength against the weakness of LA. That Chargers offensive line, they were getting worked last week, Maria. They're in for a fight tonight.
You're right. Justin Herbert, he's been sacked 14 times over the last 3 games. And one thing we know is, as they mentioned, the Dolphins want to apply some pressure. They did sack Jimmy G 4 times last week. So what is it about the way they apply the pressure that we've noticed?
Yeah, well, I think it's the influence from Brian Flores, right, the old head coach there, and what he used to do on the defensive side of the ball. The Dolphins just bring it every play. And as a quarterback, you're standing there in the shotgun and you're going, wait, the whole defense is at the line of scrimmage, and I don't know who's coming and who's dropping. So that's very hard to figure that out, let alone they get to do a great job of getting guys free, JG.
The challenging look for the offense is they have all these guys standing there. You don't know who's rushing.
Right.
You don't know who's dropping. It's hard to identify, and it creates confusion. And the other piece of this thing is they have some guys in the back end like Xavier Howard who can cover in man-to-man.
Right.
Now, the Chargers should be ready for this because they saw a big dose last week from the Raiders. Here's what the Raiders did. Same idea. Just bring more people than you can block and see how you handle it. Now, when that extra guy comes free, this receiver is hot. He should be looking for the ball to come out quick. But usually that is Mike Williams. In this case, it's tight end Gerald Everett. He's not looking, so Justin Herbert has to be Superman to get away from the rush and make the completion. But he's going to have to do a lot better than that tonight.
I think so. Exactly right. I mean, you guys said it to start off. JG, you said it. I mean, it's going to be a special performance. But with a guy like him, he is great under pressure with people around him. He throws a beautiful deep ball to where hopefully they can get Mike Williams in some of these one-on-one matchups and make some big plays.
The one thing I love to see them do is build in some quick options. Have a route in your progression that says, I can get the ball out versus the pressure right now. It takes a lot of that indecision out of it.
Look, last week, Justin Herbert was sacked 5 times. He was hit 13 times. So coming off of that, we'll see how he's able to handle this Dolphins pressure, which is going to be applied, as Jack mentioned, by the Dolphins linebacker, Jalen Phillips. He had 5 sacks so far this season. Yeah, we see you, Cuz. And also off the field, he's been nominated for one of the league's most prestigious awards, the honor of the Walter Payton Man of the Year. His work also includes mentoring the youth and supporting underserved communities. So we see you, Jalen Phillips. We appreciate you, and congratulations on your nomination.
Jalen Phillips.
The comeback kid or the comeback senior citizen. At 48, can former New York Giants running back Lance Sullivan do it again?
Will you be in the starting lineup?
That's going to be up to the coach, but I like my chances.
I suggest people start putting some respect on Lance Sullivan's name and his game.
We've never seen anyone at 48 years old play at a high level at his position, not even at 38. The Best Man is easily one of the greatest movies of all time. Wow. I know. Oh, wow. So Oscar. I'm happy to pay just a teeny tiny role in it.
Like lead role to me. Like the Godfather role.
I'm going to try really hard to not turn Hollywood on y'all, but you should definitely watch The Best Man final chapters. It premieres December 22nd on Peacock. The cast is beautiful. The show is beautiful. Go and enjoy it.
I'm going to be watching.
Meanwhile, not so beautiful for Cowboys fans. In fact, you guys were probably nervous. They were one of the biggest favorites entering the week against the Texans. So you're feeling good, right? If you're Dak Prescott and the boys. Okay, no, it was you down at halftime. It was this throw getting intercepted by the Texans, Jason.
Cowboys were rolling coming into this game, but Houston gave them all they could handle. They made a lot of mistakes. That interception by Prescott killed them, but their defense stepped up.
Yeah, huge. Stuffed on 4th and goal is Jeff Driscoll, so that means Dallas will take over with 1:21 to go. Prescott looking for his receiver, Noah Brown.
Their best player showing up in the biggest moments. Dak Prescott, Noah Brown did that. The big 98-yard drive. Give him a chance to score the game-winning touch.
Yeah.
Nice.
Next play. Yeah, big play. I mean, he hit pretty hard, but the 18-yard gain is good. 41 seconds remaining. It's Zeke the Freak Elliott up the middle for the 2-yard touchdown.
Oh, no, don't do it.
Okay, he's not going to get fined for going in the bucket. Cowboys win. Their winning streak is now up to 4 straight games. Jaguars taking on the Titans. Mike Vrabel and the Titans, first place in the AFC South. Remember, they fired their GM, John Robinson, earlier in the week.
Yeah, and controlling the game here. 14-7, they have the momentum. They're in field goal range. Ryan Tannehill throws a bad interception, and then it became Trevor time, Maria.
Yeah, looking for Zay Jones. Let's just watch the replay on this. The toe tap. Ooh,
and look at that. Just a little sliver of green grass there. Trevor Lawrence made a lot of big-time throws. And this guy right here, Evan Ingram, he's becoming one of the best pass-catching tight ends in football, doing a great job. That's because Jason Garrett coached him a little last year.
I love it.
Way to go,
yes,
Jack.
Sir.
Bye. We'll see you later,
See you, Titans.
Yeah, he waves them away. Evan Ingram, the new name is Easy E because you're really making it look easy out there. But the Titans, everything looks more difficult. They had 4 turnovers in this game, and ultimately it was turned into 20 points for Jacksonville. What are we seeing in this 3-game losing streak?
Well, I think it's what we're not seeing. We're used to seeing from Tennessee good, fundamentally sound football, a lot of Derrick Henry pounding the ball, physical, but we're not used to seeing these mistakes, Jason.
Yeah, uncharacteristic turnovers, the sack fumble, then Henry gets the ball out in space. Jacksonville punches the ball out. They typically don't turn the ball over. They play great defense. They run the ball. They do all the things that winning teams do. They didn't do that today.
And what about this side of the ball, Chris?
Well, there's some issues over here right now. Tennessee defense looked great 4 or 5 weeks ago. To me, the biggest thing, guys, and I don't know if you agree or not, the defensive line just not as dominant. I don't see anybody around the quarterback the last few weeks, and they've been letting up some huge plays in the pass game.
But that's been the big difference. No pressure on the pass.
Right? It's just, I can't believe it, because early in the year, they seemed like they were dominant.
Yeah, well, ultimately, the Jags were able to snap that 5-game losing streak against their divisional opponent. And we're also on to the final week of the World Cup. Guess what? We got the semifinals that start Tuesday with Messi and Argentina against Croatia. It's going to be a great one. And France against Morocco is on Wednesday. Then a champion will be crowned next Sunday. But up next, we've got the Lions' improbable run as it continues. We're going to break down the game and where they stand in their playoff run.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Let's go, baby!
So I woke up like at 3. So then I YouTubed you and we're showing all this high school from you.
Great.
And bro, your technique was trash. Clock! Those are fabulous notes, bro.
Time out!
You said the clock's good. All right.
All right.
Non-negotiable. Nice. It's not bad. You can hang out by me, Will.
Yeah, I'm going to hang out by you.
That first guy tried to tackle you, and then you didn't let him tackle you.
Yeah.
That was sick. Georgia is definitely the best SEC school. So glad to hear me.
Woo!
So Mike McDaniel, he is the coolest coach in a headset. We got that. His style is unlike any other, but it's authentic, and that's why the players are so drawn to him. We think about Tyreek Hill as well. Comes in with McDaniel. This is year one for him without Mahomes. He's still the most productive receiver in the game.
This is going to be a big challenge for the Chargers secondary. They don't have Derwin James, their best secondary guy. They don't have Bryce Callahan. But if I'm Brandon Staley, I'm telling my safeties, get back deep. Don't allow Tyreek Hill. Don't allow these wide receivers to get behind you. Keep everything in front of you. But I'm also emphasizing to my cornerbacks, get up in these guys' face, jam them, slow them down, reroute them. Don't allow that 4-2 speed, that 4-3 speed to get on top of my safeties. You don't have Derwin James. You don't have your star nickel. It's going to be tough to stop these guys.
It is, and they keep Tyreek Hill in constant motion, right? They're shooting him across the formation, back, running full speed there at the snap. Can you still get a jam in that type of scenario, how they use it?
The main thing is, if he's moving around, you just want to get in front of him. Once he shuffles his feet, that gives your pass rushers another half a second to get to the quarterback. You've done your job.
You turn that 4-2 40 into a 4-5. That's a win for the defense right there. Let's send it back in to Maria Taylor. She's always winning. All you, Maria.
Always. Thanks, Jack. All right, the Vikings, they needed a win or a tie to clinch the division, so obviously they're hyped, they're dancing before the game. But it would be the Detroit Lions with all the right dance moves. Dalvin Cook fumbles here. Lions would recover.
They tried to get a little tricky, do the Tebow play down by the red zone, and Detroit made them pay.
Now the Lions fans are dancing. You like that? Third quarter, Lions up 14-7. It's a fake punt. C.J. Moore takes it 42 yards.
Yeah, tricky, and more tricky. Dan Campbell getting aggressive there. Punt team executes it, and there's Jared Goff.
Yeah, 330 yards and 3 touchdowns for Goff. Dan Campbell, do you guys belong?
Our guys, they know they belong. They know they belong, and they know when they play football like we've been playing the last 6 weeks, we can play with anybody. That's the truth, you know?
Zero lies told. They just proved it. Eagles taking on the Giants. Eagles in the Meadowlands, but we're just going to call it Gotham City, okay, Coach? Philly going for it on 4th and 7. Hurts looking for skinny Batman.
Yes.
Skinny Batman.
When you trust your big play guys, you can make decisions like this. Devontae Smith. And you might want to knock that ball down if you're in the Giants secondary.
That's Julian Love.
Please.
Yeah. Trying to make the play there. The Eagles lead it 14-zip. All right, Giants punting.
Another 4th down.
I know. Jamie Gillen drops the ball, then kicks it again. It's a legal kick, so Eagles take over with great field position.
Not sure what happened on that, but they made the best out of a bad situation.
Okay, let's see him take advantage then. It's the next play looking for Swole Batman.
Their run game just sets up so many of these receiver plays. It's difficult to guard that whole group.
All right, so the Eagles win, become the first team to clinch a playoff spot. Nick Sirianni, how excited are you?
Yeah, you know, actually they said that to me in there. I'm like, oh, that's nice. I mean, we got way bigger goals, and it's on to the next one. So.
Okay, so not that excited. I totally understand. You got to move on to the next game. But the Eagles, they have consistently been great on and off the field. You can see the chemistry that the team has, and every single time that they show up on Sunday, they know that they're the 11-1 best team in the NFL right now, Coach.
And what I like about them, they're doing it in all areas. Yes, they're scoring points, they're moving the ball, but that defense is applying pressure, getting sacks, getting takeaways. They played a complete game, and they might be the best team in football.
Yeah, it's the story every week with these guys. The best teams are able to win different ways. Philadelphia has shown us that all year long. What I love most about them now, though, they have a championship mentality. Sirianni's comments, his reaction after the game, hey, these aren't our goals to get in the playoffs. They have bigger goals. I think his team feels that, and they play that way.
The Eagles right now, they're the second best defense. They're the third-ranked offense. They've scored 123 points over the course of the last 3 games. They're looking like the best team in the NFL. Meanwhile, is the offense for real, Chris? They've won 5 of the last 6 games. They look great.
Yeah, it is for real, too. There's no doubt about it. They can do just about whatever they want. Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator, probably a guy that needs to start being thrown into head coaching conversations. Way to go, Ben. But Jared Goff having the best year of his career, they find ways to get aggressive passes down the field every week. Jameson Williams there, their first-round pick, DJ Shark. So they got talent and speed on the outside, and then they got a creative, physical running game to go along with it. And they do a great job of blending play, action, pass. They get the ball to all their weapons on the offensive side of the ball. So they're hard to defend, and they make you defend the whole field. That's what good offenses do, Maria. Back over to you.
All right, thanks, Chris. It's time now for a PFT update brought to you by Google Pixel. Mike Florio, the Lions tackle, Penei Sewell, had a clutch catch to help seal their win, and you spoke to him afterwards.
Yeah, and it was an amazing moment in the game. 2 minutes left. The Lions up by only 8 points, 3rd and 7. They put Penei Sewell in motion. He runs the route, makes the catch. He told me he didn't even know that play existed until Thursday. He practiced it 3 times on Friday, caught it twice, caught it today. And I said, are you going to be nervous every Thursday now? There's going to be some new play for you to go run around. He said, hey, I'm confident now. I'll do anything they want. I want to catch more passes. So we'll see how it goes for him moving forward.
Okay, so the Lions have tackles, catching passes. They have a remarkable turnaround. What does it mean for their playoff chances, Steve Kornacki?
Well, Maria, it's still unlikely, but it's more than twice as likely as we entered the day that the Lions will end up in the playoffs. A 16% shot now for the Lions. As you say, winners of 5 of the last 6. If you went back to the start of November, they were sitting there at 1-6. Their chances of making the playoffs then were 1.5%, and even that looked generous. But now, here they are, 6-7. You see the remaining schedule, the way they're playing. A lot of those games suddenly look a lot more winnable than they used to. And keep this one in mind, too. 6-7, maybe not a bad place to be sitting. The last 4 years, at least one team that was 6-7 ended up making the playoffs. And you know what else helps the Lions here, too? Just in the last couple of minutes, the Seattle Seahawks went down to defeat the Seahawks, falling to 7-6. And actually, this graphic will need to be updated because with that loss, the Seahawks' playoffs chances are going to fall to 43%, and the Seahawks are actually going to fall out for the moment. And it's going to be Washington in the 6th spot, the Giants in the 7th spot, the Seahawks out for the moment, and Washington and the Giants are going to be playing in an absolutely enormous game next week.
Wow, last postseason berth for the Lions was 2016. We'll see if they can make their way back in. Meanwhile, Tyreek, his first season with Miami, but he's leading the NFL in receiving yards, which is more than impressive. But tonight's matchup brings back some memories of one of the greatest games in NFL history.
I'm causing mayhem.
Sunday Night Mayhem. Presented by Allstate.
NBC Sports presents the American Football Conference Divisional Playoff game. San Diego's in the end zone again. 24-0 lead over favored Miami. Hall of Fame football play. Salute mayhem. Touchdown, Kellen Winslow. We are tied up at 38 all. Overtime in Miami. It is up and the game is over. The San Diego Chargers win.
Football Night in America is brought to you by Applebee's. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
Linked forever. Pick 5 and 6 in the 2020 draft, and there's Justin Herbert just taking the field here at SoFi Stadium, set for the Chargers and the Dolphins this big game in the AFC as we hit the final quarter of this NFL season. Welcome to the field. With picks 5 and 6, usually those guys get to know each other pretty well. But remember, the 2020 draft was the one in the commissioner's basement. It was during COVID, so there wasn't a lot of time spent together. So there's not that we know each other really well between Tua Tagovailoa and Justin Herbert. But in talking to both over the last 48 hours, great respect for what they do on the field, the hurdles they've had to overcome, and the matchup coming tonight, which will be the second between these guys. And as we toss it back to Maria and the guys in the studio, I'm just going to tell you, it's actually cool here. I remember you were all here opening night, and it was sweltering. Well, there's an open side to the stadium. It's in the 50s here in L.A. It's so cold that on the Dolphins sideline, there's actually some propane heaters in case it gets a little too cold during the game. I'm just letting you know. Just giving you a full report from down here on the field. We'll see you for kickoff
The
soon.
Dolphins are like, if it's not 75 and sunny, we can't do it. Have a great call, Mike. We appreciate it. That's incredible. Dolphins are like, we can't hack it. Oh, my God. So if they were we're in Cincinnati right now, they would need more than just heaters. So I'm sure it was a little cool there, okay? Bengals are winners of 4 straight. Let's start with the Browns' mistake. Cleveland flagged on 4th and 15 for roughing the kicker.
They already went for it on 4th down in field goal position, didn't get any points. And now it's a defensive struggle game. You do that, you give Joe Burrow and company the short field, you know what happens.
Yeah, a really nice company. That would be Jamar Chase, 119 yards on 10 receptions today. Final minute of the half.
Samaje Perine running the ball, physical.
We
right?
want to keep playing on defense.
I mean, right? I mean, let's tackle the guy. Let's not just let him go by. Olay right there. I don't know what that is.
Yes.
But the Bengals are different right now because they can run the ball.
But y'all didn't say his name.
Jadeveon Clowney.
Okay.
Come on, Jadeveon.
Put him on the spot. All right, let's go to the Ravens taking on the Steelers. Kenny Pickett, you see him here on this play. He's sacked by Roquan Smith. You can see that he gets thrown kind of hard to the ground. Now, initially, Pickett is cleared. He returns for a series, but after being reevaluated, he would miss the rest of the game while in concussion protocol. So that means that Kenny Pickett is replaced by his backup, Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, Mitch did some good things, but made some critical errors in the red zone.
Yeah, you can see it here. That would be an interception.
Man.
He's intercepted by Roquan Smith, and then again.
This is not a replay. This is a second interception in the scoring zone.
Yeah, that time by Patrick Queen, and then how about a third interception?
This one trying to make something happen at the end. You still, first down interception, Chris, you can't do that.
You can't do it. Down 6 is a defensive struggle type football game. You know what this is going to be. It's going to come down to a field goal. That's Ravens Steelers.
Yeah, now remember, Lamar Jackson's out. His backup, Tyler Huntley, would actually enter the concussion protocol in this game. So that meant Anthony Brown, who was just brought up from the practice squad, would have to finish out the game, which means the Ravens have to rely on what to win the game?
The run game.
Yeah.
And they need that run game to work, even when Lamar Jackson is healthy. But especially when you're on to, like you said, Maria, the third-string quarterback off the practice squad. They got back to smash mouth football, and JG, they got their running backs back, and they're healthy.
Yeah, this is the Ravens' DNA since their inception as a franchise. They run the ball, they're physical, they're tough. We saw a lot of that today in their win over Pittsburgh.
With Anthony Brown in there, they got back to this. Gus Edwards here running the clock out. But this is who the Ravens are. This is how they have to play.
Yeah, that's right. Not a big, they're best when they run the ball, and then you got Lamar running off of that, and then the play-action pass with Mark Andrews down the middle. It's good to see them get that going today.
Hey, shout out to J.K. Dobbins. He had 120 yards rushing. Remember, he had a scope earlier this season to see him back in the game and have such a great game. That's incredible. But, Mike, let's talk about the latest on the Ravens quarterback situation. What do you got?
Well, you mentioned the Tyler Huntley concussion. Lamar Jackson week to week with a knee injury. He hasn't been ruled out for next week, but they're in one of the 3 games that is being played on Saturday. So it's less time for both quarterbacks to get cleared to play. And if they can't get on the field, then it'll be Anthony Brown as the starter, most likely backed up by Brett Hundley on Saturday at Cleveland.
All right, thanks for the update, Mike. You heard Mike McDaniel say that Georgia was, in fact, the best team in the SEC while he was mic'd up. Therefore, he is my favorite coach in the NFL moving forward.
You're wearing red again today.
Merry Christmas.
Go dog.
This is what happens when we get together.
Are you kidding me? Did he get in? Yes, sir! And that seals the deal. Into the end zone. Bam, bam, bam.
We get together.
Right for the man next to you. 5.7.
What a throw in the corner of the end zone. Wow. Got it. Touchdown, Chargers. Let's go.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
All right, let's see what former players the fans are repping today.
Whoa.
I like that.
LT.
Andy Tomlinson. How about the, look at this guy.
Hey, Marino, gotta have it.
Nobody throws it like that guy.
Baby. Whoa.
Finkel.
Laces out, Dan. Come on. Finkel and Einhorn. Einhorn and Finkel.
All right, time for BetMGM, Chris.
All right, well, I'm here with my fantasy legend quarterback right here, Matthew Berry. Let's break it down. It's BetMGM breakdown time. We got a good showdown tonight. We know this Dolphins offense explosive as can be. Chargers defense, right? It's been spotty, to say the least. You expecting them to put up a fight, maybe slow down Tua and company tonight?
I really don't, especially given how they're banged up. The 3 defensive starters are out in this game, including Derwin James in the secondary here, so I think Tua gets back on track. Remember, under Mike McDaniel, Tua Tagovailoa leads all quarterbacks in yards per pass attempt this season. It helps when you can throw it to Waddle and Hill, and they run after the catch here. So Tua Tagovailoa, who's had at least 295 passing yards in 4 of the past 5 games,
right.
And the one game he didn't, he had 285.
Right.
I think he gets that number in a big way today. I think the Dolphins kill him, and I think Tua's a big reason coming for him tonight.
Well, we haven't seen anybody slow down this Dolphins offense yet, really. And I mean, the passing game, the creativity of Mike McDaniel, everything he does on that side of the ball. All right, now do you see any wins for the Charger defense, or are you going to expect a big running game too here?
Listen, the Chargers haven't stopped anyone against the run all season long. They've given up 150 rushing yards in 6 straight games. They give up the most yards per carry to opposing running backs. So I like both Jeff Wilson Jr. and Raheem Mostert in that order to at least get 50 rushing yards each of them. They're going to run a lot. They're going to set up play action pass.
Right.
Yeah, give me the Dolphins in a big one.
So what he's saying is Justin Herbert better be on fire to keep up with that Dolphins offense, all right? So new BetMGM customers can sign up and bet $10 on any NFL game to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with bonus code NBC150. Back to you, Maria.
All right, Chris, you guys talk QBs and running backs. I raise you wideouts, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They're a big reason why the Dolphins have been must-see TV this season. And recently I went down to Miami to have some fun with Tua and make him choose between 2 of the best wide receivers in football.
Tua right on the money. They are having fun. Let's go.
I would like to play a game.
Yes.
I don't know if you know who these represent.
Yeah.
Tell us who it is. Who is this?
The Penguin.
Yeah, that's the Penguin.
We'll call it Jalen Waddle.
Okay. Who is this?
We'll call this the Cheetah.
Okay. All right. So I want you to raise whichever one is the better nickname.
Oh.
You got to pick one.
Okay, got you. Oh, no. I'm doing that on purpose. All right.
Okay. The better nickname.
I like this one.
Okay, it's pretty good.
Everyone knows this guy.
I know. Okay, the best touchdown celebration.
Oh. I never seen his yet, but.
Okay.
The Penguin in the end zone.
The better trash talker.
Oh.
I owe you. Cheetah's here.
By far. Woo. You don't want those problems?
Love him.
Don't let your foot off the gas.
Who is faster?
Oh, I got to go with this guy. That was quick, huh?
Okay, yeah.
That was quick. We'll leave it with this guy.
Unbelievable. Beat him by 7 or 8 yards.
You see, he just wanted to hold up both. Like, I got to have both my guys feeling good. Yeah, that's right. We had so much fun down there in South Florida. And obviously, Tua Tagovailoa has fun being able to distribute the ball to his wideouts. They are 1st and 5th in receiving. And, Coach, they always find a way to give them space.
Yeah, Matthew talked about how explosive they are, leading the league in pass average, and one of the reasons is personnel. Jalen Waddle here, the Penguin, the Cheetah going in motion here. But you're going to try to play zone coverage because you don't want to match up against them. But this RPO, the run-pass option, it does a couple of things. The line shows run. So what it does is hold these linebackers. They can't drop into their zones. And your great pass rushers, if this is Khalil Mack, you don't even have to block him because he's chasing the run here. And Tua gets rid of it quick. Here's the open space against the zone. Here's your best pass rusher chasing the run. Tua with just a nice, easy throw, and then these guys can operate.
They can go. You got Tyreek Hill going in motion. The 2 people run with him. They're special this way, Coach.
It's really tough to beat the RPO and how Tua makes those decisions and makes those throws. But if you're going to play zone against them, the coaching point is slow until you know. Make him run it. Make him hand the ball off. Right. If you're a linebacker, get your depth and react to the run. You got to limit the big plays against these guys.
Yes, dare him to run it.
Yes, if I'm the Chargers tonight, I'm playing pass every time. Absolutely. I don't care if they hand the ball off.
Meanwhile, the Chargers have given up 13 touchdowns of 20 yards or more, so eliminate the big plays. They haven't done it yet. Maybe they'll do it here tonight. We're going to see. Let's stay in the AFC, though. The Chiefs were at the Broncos. You've already shown us a little bit of Patrick Mahomesville.
We need to watch it again.
Watch it again.
This is amazing. He wants to run, and then all of a sudden you realize the guy covering McKinnon's coming up to get him.
Your quarterback coach would fire you.
Well, I wouldn't even have had the guts to do it. I'd be like, I know I'm going to be fired after that. But then just to shovel it that way like a loaf of bread. bread and kind of put a spiral on it? I mean, what the heck is this guy? He's amazing.
Shout out to Jerick McKinnon for just like actually knowing where to go and catch the
Here
ball.
we go again. He just running around playing backyard football. It's like the Globetrotters out there.
Georgia Brown, Cindy. That's pretty good.
Like that?
All right, so that means the Chiefs win. If the Chargers lose tonight, Chiefs win the AFC for a 7th straight season. The AFC West, that is. All right, we've got some ugly weather and Buffalo Bills taking on the Jets. Huge mistake by the Jets defense here.
Well, the one, they are not going to run a play. There's a minute 17 left from their own 39. They're not going to run a play, Jets.
Say it again. They are not going to run a play. C.J. Mosley jumps offside, though. You see it there. Later in the drive, Josh Allen looking for Dawson Knox.
What a sequence for Dawson Knox. Draws the offsides. He dives into the end zone. What a shot of this. He gets the ball across.
Tremendous.
What a great moment for that guy.
Yes, great effort at the goal line there. Third quarter with the Jets down 7. Mike White, though, was hit hard on the play.
This was really the story of the game. We saw this over and over and over again. Mike White getting hit by that Buffalo pass rush.
Yeah, he went to the locker room after injuring his ribs. He did come back in. Zach Wilson, remember, is inactive. So Joe Flacco has to step in. And the next play here.
It wasn't pretty, Jason.
It wasn't pretty. Ugly day up there for everybody. The Bills defense showed up. A tough day for Flacco.
Yeah, so the Bills get the victory, 20-12, and they are the AFC leaders right now. But let's kind of walk through what we've been seeing from the Bills so far.
Well, what I like today, everybody were thinking, without Von Miller now, where is the pressure going to come from? But all of these other defensive linemen stepped up, and they got great pressure.
Oh, they really did, Coach. You're right about that. They're creative with what they do. Leslie Frazier, he's a guy that needs to be thrown in that defensive, or a head coach as far as the defensive coordinator is concerned. But they harassed the Jets quarterbacks throughout the day.
They were coming from everywhere. It's hard enough to throw the ball when it's 33 degrees out and driving snowstorm, and you got all those blue shirts around you. It ain't easy.
Yeah, well, Von Miller is out with a knee surgery. You could see all of his teammates there wearing Von Miller shirts to warm up. But, Mike Florio, that just means that Gregory Rousseau is one of the guys who's going to have to step up without Miller. He did have 2 sacks today, and you got to speak with him afterwards.
Yes, he did step up. And remember, it was just last month that the Bills lost to the Jets when Zach Wilson was the quarterback. They beat the Jets today with Mike White. But Rousseau really praised Mike White for making a bunch of good throws, being a fierce competitor, and coming back repeatedly from injury. He came back not once, but twice. Now, after the game, White went to a local hospital to have those ribs evaluated as a precaution. He has since rejoined the team. We'll see how the week unfolds as to whether or not he'll miss any game time.
All right, another injury that we're going to keep our eye on is for the Jets. Defensive lineman and stud Quinnen Williams picked up a calf injury, so he's now day-to-day. So what does that Jets loss mean? Let's go back to Steve Kornacki to break down those playoff chances.
Yeah, well, there's the Mike White situation, but for Jets fans, from a playoff probability standpoint, the biggest implication today is a missed opportunity for the Jets. They came into the day with a 59% shot of making the playoffs. If they could have won this game in Buffalo, that would have soared all the way to 82%. Instead, with the loss, they are just under a 50-50 proposition, the Jets are, to make the playoffs. Take a look here at the AFC standings, because that 48% chance for the Jets could get worse. You see them clinging to that 7th spot right now, but the game tonight, the Chargers play in Miami. If the Chargers can win that game tonight, they'd go to 7-6, and they would leapfrog the Jets, take the number 7 spot. And then tomorrow night, the Pats playing against the Cardinals on Monday Night Football. If the Pats win that game, it would be the Pats who'd take the 7th spot. It would then be the Chargers in the 8th, and the Jets would fall all the way to 9th place. Under that scenario, they'd have just a 38% chance of making the playoffs. But if the Jets can get some help, if the Dolphins beat the Chargers, if the Cardinals beat the Patriots, then you know what? Even though they lost today, the Jets would still end the weekend in the 7th spot. They'd have a 58% shot of making the playoffs. They'd pretty much be back where they'd started, and they'd be saying it could have been a lot worse.
Okay,
how does he know all
I don't actually know, and no one can fact check them. Like, you're right, Steve, we get it. Kaminsky's over there writing down all the possibilities, like, how do my Jets get in? All right, Brandon Staley and his squad sitting at 500, but they're losers 3 of their last 4, trying to get a victory here tonight against the Dolphins.
Welcome to the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff.
First virtual NFL draft.
It's always
been a dream of mine.
Congratulations, Tua.
Tua Tagovailoa era begins.
The Los Angeles Chargers select
Justin Herbert brought it in a big way. What can't Justin Herbert do? That's the greatest throw I've ever seen. Tua put it right where it needs to be.
Tua Tagovailoa makes football fun, and they love playing for it.
Well, in the high-stakes quarterback arms race, it's rare that both teams could hit. After debate, Tua Tagovailoa, he went one selection before Herbert, and with Mike McDaniel, Tua's having the best year of his career. For L.A., Justin Herbert, he has shown undeniable talent, but injuries to his wide receivers and offensive linemen have made every week a challenge. Let's take you on the field, presented by Hyundai for only the 4th game all year. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are healthy. A big night for Miami's Xavier Howard.
Can't wait to see Xavier Howard. He's their best corner. He's been up and down this year, mainly because he's had some injuries. I expect him to see a lot of man-to-man coverage. He should match up against Mike Williams. Mike Williams is that 6'4" wide receiver, and Justin Herbert is a different quarterback when he has a star receiver in the fold.
And the Dolphins are using every resource to try and build a championship pass rush. Well on their way. That trade for Bradley Chubb, it was right on time.
Yeah, and Bradley's starting to get more comfortable in this defense. They have 3 excellent pass rushes. They can rotate them. They can put them all in together. But one thing is for sure, they should definitely dominate this offensive line.
Rodney, I saw you catching up with everybody as these teams get set. What'd you learn?
I had a player from the Miami Dolphins told me that it was probably the best thing that happened to him last week, losing. It got him back refocused, and you can tell it's just a sense of urgency is there when they're on the field.
I talked to Durham Smythe for a second. He said he's never played for a coach like McDaniel. He doesn't use fear and intimidation. He uses connection and humor. They can't wait to go to work and play for this guy. It's working out so far. Send it back in to Maria Taylor.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Let's go to a meeting of 2 former Jets quarterbacks. The Panthers taking on the Seahawks, Sam Darnold and Geno Smith. To the first quarter we go. Darnold looking for Shi Smith.
Yeah, looking for Shi Smith off the turnover from the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold was efficient today. Not a lot of big plays, but between him being efficient, Maria, and their run game is dominant right now in Carolina, they're kind of getting good here. They're competing in the NFC South.
Hey, now's the time to get good. The rookie Raheem Blackshear, he was good for that 8-yard run. The Panthers get the win and control the path to the NFC South. Tampa Bay taking on San Francisco. The last pick in last year's drive, Brock Purdy stepping into the spotlight with Jimmy G out, and he looked good.
Yes, how would he do against this high-pressure Bucs defense? Very good.
And Brock Purdy's family was there. His dad, Sean, looking on later in the second quarter. Purdy looking for Christian McCaffrey.
Hey, so much poise, so much composure. Stands in and throws a strike, looking down the gun barrel.
Oh, my God, Dad Sean's getting emotional watching his son right now. I would be, too. He was Mr. Irrelevant in this year's draft. But it wasn't all good for San Francisco. Deebo Samuel gets injured on this play and stays down after the run. You can see him getting rolled up from behind. Samuel visibly upset as he ends up getting carted off. He was ruled out with an ankle injury. Kyle Shanahan has come out and said he believes it's a high ankle sprain, not believed to be serious, though. The Niners defense keep it rolling. Tom Brady intercepted. He's intercepted twice in this game.
Marie, you don't want to be down 28 to the 49ers. They're the best defense in the league. Those defensive linemen getting those track stances becomes a tough environment to play in.
Okay, so the Niners roll to a 6th straight win. That's the longest active streak in the NFL. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, turned superstar, going to visit with his family. Yeah, young man, you got to get a picture with him. How beautiful is this moment, Coach?
That is nice. Purdy played exceptionally well. That's what we were looking to see. How was he going to handle the pressure? He did it really well. Brady, on the other hand, not as great.
Yeah, Purdy for his first start, his composure off the charts.
Yeah, so you're saying he played Purdy good. Now for the Sunday Night Game Flow presented by Progressive. Chris, tell us more about Brock Purdy.
What? You stole my line, Maria. I was just about to say he played. Let's talk. I mean, the guy is making big-time decisions from within the pocket. You see here, I mean, yes, whether the people in his face, down the middle throw here to George Kittle in a big moment. Again, in the pocket, a little off play-action pass. The movement is something he brings to this 49ers offense that is better than Jimmy Garoppolo, but just unflappable. And then before the half, what? You're going to go score a touchdown? 2-minute drill on Tom Brady with a double move? Yes, that was a Purdy pass, Maria. Back over to you. too.
Way to throw it back to me. That was beautiful. That was the Sunday Night Game Flow presented by Progressive. And yes, Brock Purdy obviously out-dueling Tom Brady as a storyline, but this San Francisco 49ers defense is always the storyline. I mean, they've only allowed 10 points per game during that 6-game win streak. It's been impressive.
And I thought the Bucs would be able to attack them. I thought they'd run the ball, use the quick play-action passes, Brady getting it out of his hand quick, but that wasn't the case. Once they got behind, boy, it was all over. This defense just coming off the edges, rushing the passer, and they had Tom nervous back there.
And it starts up front. They just come off the ball so hard and so fast. All these red shirts around them, it's uncomfortable, and then they can cover on the back end. They drive on the ball. It's a lot of red shirts in the screen every time, and they make plays. If you make a mistake, they're going to catch it and run it back.
And this was the story of Tom's night, just a little bit off, but it really, that speed of this defense and just the way they swarm, that was impressive.
Yeah, well, the 49ers can clinch the NFC West with a win on Thursday against the Seahawks. That's my most Steve Kornacki that I can do in far breaking down the playoffs, but it's time now for the Sunday Night 7, featuring a $100,000 jackpot. Matthew, how many passing yards and touchdowns for Justin Herbert?
I think a lot, Maria. He's going to have to do that to keep up with Tua Tagovailoa. We talked about it earlier. You know, Sunday Night 7 gives you all these narrow options, so I want as many options as possible. So I'm taking the last one there, 335 plus passing yards, most options there. He gets Mike Williams back. The over-under in this game is the highest on the slate. We expect a ton of points to be scored. I'm also going to say 2 touchdowns for Herbert. He's had multiple touchdown passes in 2 of the 3 games since Keenan Allen came back. When we return, the best of a wild Week 14. Come on back.
Well, the countdown is on. Justin Herbert headed back to the locker room and getting set to take on the Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa, that high-powered offense. What will we see from the Penguin and the Cheetah? We'll get there, but first, the best of Week 14 brought to you by MetaQuest. Jason, we stopped with the Eagles.
Maria, the Eagles are the best team in ball because they can beat you so many different ways. It starts up front. They dominate the line of scrimmage. Hurts completing shots down the field. They run the ball. Miles Sanders, big explosive runs. They're awfully good, and they're having fun in Philly.
Yep.
Talk about their defense.
They're in a class of their own. Meanwhile, Brock Purdy out-dueling Tom Brady. He goes 16 for 21, 185, 2 touchdowns. But there was still a scary moment for the 49ers when we saw Debo going down. It's a left ankle injury. Kyle Shanahan not sure of the extent, but most likely a high ankle sprain. Definitely, it is not broken.
Kansas City got a big lead today. I think they got a little bored and made some mistakes, but they still have this guy, and I'm not sure how you defend plays like this. This was Patrick Mahomes in the big moments. Here's another one, critical situation. I'll just run around, scramble, and then find Juju.
Oh, and then we got the Buffalo Bills. Nobody circles the wagons like they do. Their defense was the story of the day. Josh Allen and company, the offense was spotty, but the defense made big plays and big moments, forced some turnovers, and then we got a little Josh Allen magic from time to time, but good win for the Buffalo Bills, Maria.
Well, that was the best of Week 14, brought to you by MetaQuest. Wish for the extraordinary. Let's hear from Robert Saleh on the expectation of playing the Bills again.
We're going to see these guys again, so.
What makes you say that?
I just think we are.
Are you pretty confident in the playoff?
I think our team is but we got a good football team.
All right. Remember, the Jets have to make the playoffs for that to happen, and they haven't since 2010. That's the longest active drought, but we'll see whether or not they can make it happen this season. Let's talk about what matters and what you've noticed in this wild kind of Week 14.
Well, I like the Jets still, and I like Robert Saleh's confidence. They've got 2 home games coming up, Detroit and Jacksonville, who both played well today, but I do like that attitude there in New York.
Coach, I agree with you. Defense travels this time of year. Weather can be tough. This defense has been consistently good all year long. They make it tough on opposing offenses. I like the Jets.
All right, that's what we've seen so far today. Let's get to what we will see tonight. Time for the home team picks, brought to you by Lowe's. We start with America's pick and Jack Collinsworth.
Well, Maria, 61% of the country is on the Dolphins in Miami. They are coming off a down game offensively. Expect that to bounce back, but this game will be decided by Miami's defensive line against a beat-down L.A. offensive line. I think the Dolphins pass rush steals the night. Give me the Fins. Rod, who you going with and why?
I think the Dolphins try to get Tua back on track. I think he's going to have a big night. I'm going to ride with the Dolphins.
Smart man. Mike Florio, how about you?
You know, I'd love to pick the Chargers, but it's always something, Matthew Berry, with the LA Chargers. I have more faith in the Dolphins to get the win tonight.
Yeah, they're so beat up, the Chargers are. Meanwhile, the Dolphins getting Armstead back on the offensive line. Give me the Dolphins in a big one tonight. Chris.
We really haven't seen anybody slow down the Dolphins offense all year. Tua was a little off last week. He won't be off today against this Chargers defense. I think Justin Herbert and company make a few plays, but I'm still going with the Dolphins here.
I'm riding with everyone else on the board, and I'm going to take the Dolphins as well. Jason?
The key to this game is who runs the ball better, ironically enough. I do think that Miami's going to run it better. There's too much pressure on Justin Herbert. I take the Dolphins as well.
Well, the Chargers have all those defenders injured and out. They do get Mike Williams back, and I expect Mike Williams to make some plays against the blitz of Miami, but I think the Dolphins are going to be too much offense tonight.
Oh, my gosh. I'm a little nervous that we went all Dolphins on this one. Give me the one reason why the Chargers could win then.
We talk about this all the time, Justin Herbert. He's capable of having these huge, monstrous games. There's so much pressure on him to do it, but he can do it, and it's a big moment for them. They need this game.
All right, Justin Herbert, let's see if you can prove us wrong. Those were tonight's hometown team picks brought to you by Lowe's. We've got Tua Tagovailoa. We've got the Cheetah. We've got the Penguin. We've got an AFC playoff race taking place in moments. Mike, Chris, and Melissa have the call after Carrie Underwood kicks us off.
This has been the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff. Spanish language audio provided by Telemundo Deportes. Or watch tonight's game in Spanish on Universo.